felt nothing but pride, and I held my head up high and said, you know what, it was worth it. It was all awesome. And I conceded that, yeah, a better man won, you know.
That's freaking awesome that he can say that, first of all, right?
Well, I think we need to touch on that in this video, because I became much more of a fan of Samson after watching this video, saying, look, we were both at our arguably best of all time. I know we both worked our absolute, hearts out for this thing, and the better man won that day. It's not a loss to say that someone looks better than you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Think Big. Coaches Andrew and myself are going to talk today about this video that Samson just put out. He says that he might not be competing in the Arnold UK after he just looked freaking incredible. Potentially there's some health issues. He says he's going to the hospital. We're going to watch this video. We don't plan on speculating at all as to what's going on with him. I don't think that would be called for. That said, Andrew and I have coached for over a decade now. We've competed a bunch ourselves, and I mean, I think we've both run into various different issues along the way. I know I have. How about you, Andrew?
Yeah, man, there's been plenty of preps where I've just beat myself into the ground. And, you ride that high after the show for that Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday rolls around, and it's like everything catches up to you. The fatigue, if you traveled, you're even more tired, especially with the time zone changes as Samson has to deal with. So it's understandable that he's feeling in a situation right now. And honestly, it's kudos to him for not ignoring it and for going to the hospital and just making sure everything is okay.
Yeah. So let's watch this video and see what we can learn from it.
I've been absolutely ill since the show. This is one of those things where when you're that low body fat and you spend a lot of times in obviously expos and meeting people and everything else, things can tend to, your body's more vulnerable than what it usually is. But with that said, it's one thing, going to a show, we pushed. And like I said before, I gave my absolute best for this one. I've gone from show to show, competing to competing, and I've given my heart out, and I gave my absolute best for this one. I mean, if some of you watched my story a few weeks ago, I said, look, I don't know if I have anything left to give. I've given everything else. If I push any more, I think I'm gonna wind up in hospital. And we really, dug deep for that. And we brought our best to the stage. We've never been that good before. We brought our best to the stage and we battled. And oh, fuck me, we battled. And I absolutely loved every moment of it. It was one of the most epic moments I've ever had on stage, going head to head with Mr. Olympian.
No kidding.
And battling out with him. And I felt nothing but pride and joy doing that, and at the end of the day, the better man won. And I felt nothing but pride, and I held my head up high and said, you know what, it was worth it. It was all awesome. And I conceded that, yeah, a better man won,
That's freaking awesome that he can say that, first of all, right?
Well, I think we need to touch on that in this video, because I became much more of a fan of Samson after watching this video, saying, look, we were both at our arguably best of all time. I know we both worked our absolute, hearts out for this thing, and the better man won that day. It's not a loss to say that someone looks better than you. It's like you still look awesome. You're the second place Arnold Classic guy in the world, you're third place Olympian. So you're in that realm of like, oh my God, you're one of the best. Yeah. And for him to have the guts and the maturity to say that, I mean, I just became a much bigger fan of him after seeing that today.
I'm with you, man. And there, he says more here that it just kept drawing me in. I'm like, man, I like this guy more than I ever did after seeing this video.
And I felt like, we gave everybody a show. We gave everybody our best. And after prejudging, we were told how close it was. And we were told that we had to come better the next day. So I even dug deeper than I've ever dug before for the finals. And we took made a sacrifice that, I could say that right now, I might just regret a little bit. But you know what? I came back better on the Saturday, and you know what? We gave everything for it. And you know what? The better man won, and I concede to that, and Like, yeah, I shook his hand and I hugged him and I said, bro, you're absolutely amazing and you're a warrior. And this for me is what bodybuilding is about. It's two warriors on stage with every single one of us fighting to bring our best, to try to bring our best at that point. And at the end of the day, regardless of win, lose or draw, if you know you've given your all, you shake the other man's hand and you say, well done. Now, that is one thing, to do that and feel that way and feel that respect for each other on stage and that respect for what the sport we done on stage. But it's another thing to come off stage and then have nothing but disrespect, given to you and your family for what? For sport? For this? To have my family disrespected, to have me disrespected so badly for not winning when I gave everything. Remember after the Olympia, I came out and I said, we have to make this sport better. We have to respect each other. We have to be more understanding of each other. And it feels like that completely fell on deaf ears. We sacrifice a lot to do this sport. We sacrifice a lot of our health and our body and our family's privacy and peace to do this. But to come out and be disrespected so badly by people that have no right to do so, and to humiliate us and my family because of the joys of what you felt is just and you felt is your opinion.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything about this. Did you?
No, I haven't. I'm assuming, similar to maybe last year after Derek won the Olympia, there's a certain group of people that, either got a cell phone number or got in the DMs and just started, harassing him with all sorts of, nonsense. I'm going to be honest, like someone of Samson's, stature in our sport, I'm actually surprised he really cares about the negativity. And everyone's affected mentally by different things. I get that.
Yeah.
To me, anyone that's ever done a full contest prep and got into crazy contest shape and had a battle with someone, win or lose, they would never, ever throw shade on someone that represented himself so well.
That is so true. It's not like, you don't see Jay Cutler going around and telling people they look like garbage, right?
No. It's always losers. It's losers that do that kind of stuff.
It is, but it's hard to see that. And he mentions too, he was like, hey, 3 years ago, it's a little bit later in the video, he was like, hey, 3 years ago, I just had like a full-time job. And it's like, I just do this because I love it. So this is, I think, here's my thought, is that this has happened really fast for him, and that we all kind of have to get our skin thicker through the process. But man, even like I can't imagine at that level to put yourself out there on that Arnold Classic stage, at the Olympia stage. I mean, it's a lot, and you're going to face, it's crazy, the people out there and the negativity, but I feel for him, man. I feel terrible that he feels that way.
I mean, you and me do a show and someone doesn't like us.
Right.
We get 2 or 5 emails or text messages or DMs. They're like, hey, you suck,
Right.
When Samson does it, does he get like 1,000?
Thousands?
Does he get 10,000? Does he get 100,000?
They shut down Derek's Instagram with so many negative messages. I mean, geez.
Yeah. I would just say, hey, man, that's a sign that you're doing the right things. If so many people have that kind of negativity and you did everything right and you represented yourself well and you're a good person, then, screw those other people.
Bob Chick said this weekend on the podcast that, that he got hate from fans of Hottie because he didn't announce Hottie as the winner. He had nothing to do with it. He was just the announcer, but he got hate mail and like death threats and all of that, just because he announced somebody other than Hottie from Hottie's fans. So it's wild, man. Yeah. Let's see what else there is. Should we fast forward this?
Get to 6 minutes and 50 seconds in. He kind of sums up the health stuff that we're talking about.
All right. And listen, guys, this is up over at Samson's Instagram right now, so you could check that out. I'll cut it back just a little bit before that, Andrew, because I'm not sure if my timestamps are the same as yours.
Arnold Classic champion. Now I'm getting disrespected for what? Bringing my best to the stage and not winning? And I'm being disrespected for it? Is that cool? Is that on?
No.
Is that right?
No.
But you know what? Fair enough. Maybe, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I come from different breed. I come from a different time. I come from a different life. So I don't understand how this works. And I put my hands up and say, I don't get it. I don't. But as of now, this I have to take myself to the hospital to get checked out because I don't know. My body is just, I'm trying to push through. I'm trying to train. I'm trying to get through it, but my body is just failing at this point. And honestly, I just don't know what else I could do. So given what happens to me in the next few days, after we get checked out in the hospital, and what happens and the results of that, it will determine if I will be doing the Arnold Classic UK next week. And I have to wait and see how that result comes back. And if I'll be able to proceed and carry on pushing my body to the limit that it is. So, I'm really hoping that's not the case. I'm really hoping I can somehow carry this on and keep fighting, because that's all I've ever done all my life, is keep fighting against all odds. But when my health is starting to fail, family and I are being dragged through the mud, I have to really stop and question why I'm doing this and why I'm putting them through this. But I really hope, by all my heart, I really hope that that's not the case. So guys, I'll carry on updating you on how this goes, and as soon as I know what the plan is and what exactly I'm able to do and how serious this is, I'll let you guys know. But for now, we keep doing our best. That's all we've ever done.
Man, it's some heavy stuff.
Oh, when he said, why am I doing this? I'm questioning why. At the end of the day, I can think of several 100,000 reasons why. He's one of those guys that's in that echelon where
he can do it. Yeah, he can do it.
And I'm not his therapist, but I would just say block all the crap and noise out, and just focus on the people that are in your camp, and think about how you're enriching your family, with your success on stage, financial success, and the other opportunities that are coming your way. And the real fans know. So,
yeah.
That's it.
I remember a prep of my own, he mentioned near the beginning about going to the expo and having to put himself out there and being in that depleted state. I can tell you, I got so sick after one of my preps, and it's always after the prep. Things are over. Mm-hmm. You start to rebound a little bit, and a few days later, then it catches up with you. And man, when you're depleted like that, maybe he caught something. I wouldn't be surprised, because there's all sorts of crap going around that expo floor with all those people being packed together, plus the flying. Being on a plane, man, that in itself is a place that you can get sick. So being in a vulnerable state like that is detrimental.
Yep, that's I actually thought the same thing, having to be around thousands of new people, and even being in a different climate, Like, for instance, right now my allergies are going through the roof right now, and I've been feeling like I'm having almost flu-like symptoms with fevers and stuff due to the allergies.
Victoria is as well.
Yeah, he was in Ohio. It's a different climate than what he's used to. Maybe, some pollen and stuff in the air. Maybe his allergies are really just acting up, and that's why he's feeling. Because when your allergies are that bad, sometimes you try to go to the gym and your strength and your energy is just depleted. So I'm hoping it's one of those things, honestly.
Well, we were talking about it last night. This is like our bedtime talk. Before bed, we were talking about how you can get sick without catching something from somebody. Something triggers the cytokines to just start kicking up, and then you're going to have literally all the same symptoms that you would if you were to catch something from somebody else. So there's no question. Did he catch something from somebody else? Did he catch something? Did something internally happen? We know for sure that he's under a great deal of stress, and that's not going to make him feel better. Plus, that's not going to help your sense of well-being either. And
No. Yeah, it's his. He's gone, several time zones in the matter of a couple of weeks. He's probably lost out on so much sleep. Is his immune system just compromised? And that's why. I know a lot of people are going to rush to the things that go into the sport and say it's probably something related to that. But I think, we got to look at the full picture and, understand that this guy, he's competing in a country that's not his own. He's been access to hundreds of thousands of people in the last couple of days that he doesn't normally see. yeah, I mean, I just hope he starts to feel better, regardless of whether he competes or not. You know,
Yeah, and I think that
feels better.
Like going to the hospital, it's a good move. Get like all your lab work done, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's been doing that all the way in, you know.
Yeah,
he wasn't taking chance. I would assume he's not taking chances. Nobody does anymore. We're all getting labs all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, and you can think back to some of your hard preps. I mean, I remember there was one in either 2017 or 18 where. I was still personal training, and I got to work, and I'd get to work at 5:30 in the morning because I had clients that early.
Right.
And I remember just like the stairs walking up, because there's a parking lot, and then you got to walk upstairs, and then you got to walk through another parking lot to get to the gym. Yeah. And I remember getting to those stairs at like 5:25 and just looking at them for like 3 minutes and being like, I don't know if I can make it up these stairs, let alone work today, you know? And then eventually I did. But I got to the point where some of these shows 2 weeks out, I would just call clients and say, hey, I'm sorry. I know this sounds completely ridiculous, but I'm not going to be working for 2 weeks because I'm so zapped on energy that I'm afraid I'm going to hurt you or myself with the things we're doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get it. Body fatigue, illness, whatever it might be. It's best to put your health first and play it safe.
Yeah, and if Samson happens to watch this, I want to personally say thank you to him. You know, you know who I wanted to thank this weekend, and I ran into him and I didn't get to thank him because it all happened so fast, was Ian Valliere. So I followed Ian from the time that I learned about him, and not a lot of people knew about him yet. And I even got to do an interview with him like early on, and I did all sorts of background research to do a good interview. And then I had the opportunity of watching him as a fan compete at the high level and be a top 5 threat at the Olympia. And now he's retired. And honestly, man, I wanted to stop and talk with him for a second just to say thank you for everything you did for me as a fan, meaning thank you for putting on a great hell of a show. You know, unfortunately, what happened was there was one of those guys who tries to trick bodybuilders and get them to lie about their weight, and then they pull a scale out.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
I know. I've seen that guy.
Yeah,
YouTube.
That guy was there, and he was wearing like a disguise. He was wearing a disguise so that people wouldn't recognize him. And I saw Ian, and Ian saw me, and I went to go shake his hand, and then this guy walked up, and then he was like, "Hey, Ian Valliere, how much do you weigh?" And that whole thing went down. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Is this really happening? Ian's retired. Why would he lie about his weight now?" You know?
Yeah.
They pulled out a measuring tape.
He probably doesn't check his scale weight every day. You know, he says 275. Right. Okay, so he's 268. Like, he's really lying to you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, anything else we want to add to this, Andrew?
No. Like you said, if Samson does watch this, you looked awesome on Friday and Saturday, and please put your health first. And definitely a bigger fan after watching your video. Definitely made me a bigger fan.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.